Welcome to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, thanking you for being subscribers of Cignal TV, channels 8 and 250, viewers of One News PH, and of course, those of you who watch the program on Facebook and on YouTube, wherever you are in the world, in the country. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagpapanood. Okay, today is May 25, 2022. 5 araw na lang, tapos na ang ika-5 buwan ng 2022. It's a Wednesday, midweek, and we continue featuring the news and giving you updates on what's happening in our world and in our country. Thank you also to PLDT for your home fiber optic internet. Lagi ko sinasabi, gawa-gawa ko ito, pero totoo. Okay, walang laylay, walang laglag. Okay, now for today, we will start the daily starter para sa inyong mga may asawa. For those of you who are married, planning to get married, and thinking of getting out of marriage. Okay, our resource person today is the Hulk, the Hulk, aka actor Mark Ruffalo. Okay, siya po yung lumalabas na the Hulk, and this is what he shared with us. I think of marriage as a garden. You have to tend to it. Respect it, take care of it, feed it, make sure everyone is getting the right amount of sunlight. Okay? And po, marriage is like a garden. You have to tend to it, respect it, take care of it, feed it, make sure everyone is getting the right amount of sunlight. Now, on a more practical perspective, might I suggest that those husbands, especially as we approach the weekend, you could do something nice for your wife, like breakfast in bed. And for the wife naman, well, you could also do something for your husband, make them happy. Okay? Hindi ko na dadagdagan yan. Let's now go to our front page of the Philippine Star. And today's Philippine Star, the front page headline is Congress Canvas Proceeds Quickly. Okay. Mabilis na nagagawa. Okay. The canvassing of votes in the House of Representatives based on the work of the National Board of Canvassers at the Batasang Pambansa is proceeding quickly. Okay, that big photo that you see on the middle left side of the front page, a seamstress works on a Philippine flag in preparation for Flag Day on May 28. Okay? Wala akong mapapaglagyan ng watawat dito sa harapan ng bahay ko dahil may gubat. But please, if you can, on your cars, windows, wherever you are, please display the Philippine flag. Let's start becoming a little more patriotic. Okay, at the top of the front page, 6 regions record slight uptick in COVID cases. NCR, BARM, Eastern Visayas, Central Luzon, Caraga, they have a slight uptick. Tumaas ng bahagya, but experts say it is not a crisis, no cause for concern, not an urgent concern. Pero take note, tumataas po ang COVID cases. Okay. Incoming DOJ Chief vows faster justice system. Incoming Chief of the DOJ, Secretary-to-be Boying Remulla has vowed that they will make the justice system more efficient, making sure that at every point of the process, someone is in charge, someone is responsible. They will also try their best to depopulate the jails, etc., etc. On the right side, COMELEC sees no need to postpone barangay elections. Ayan na po. We even interviewed the DILG USEC yesterday, Jonathan Malaya, and he shared the same sentiment that in deference to the House of Representatives, as far as the DILG or the COMELEC is concerned, dapat tuloy ang barangay elections because that is in the law. At the lower part of the front page, Duterte urges Putin to control your soldiers. Okay? Medyo as he exits from his role as President of the Philippines, President Rodrigo Duterte seems to be a little more at ease or vocal about what's happening in Ukraine. Kumbaga, yung diplomasya pwede nang bawasan, harapin na ang katotohanan. The middle photo of the front page shows members of the Senate and House of Representatives for a photo opportunity during the canvassing of ballots at the Batasan. Meanwhile, Presidential Advisor on Entrepreneurship, Joey Concepcion, is upbeat about economic recovery of the Philippines and forecasts that our economy will be back at pre-pandemic levels if there are no serious lockdowns or surges in COVID cases. The lower bottom or the bottom of the Philippine Star, meanwhile, front page features profile of different world leaders who participated in the at the launch of the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, a commitment initiated by U.S. President Joe Biden, and we were represented by DTI Secretary Ramon Lopez. Last but not the least, United Nations laments use of digital tech for disinformation. And those are the front page news on today's Philippine Star. And now let us move to the interview portion of the program. And first up, we have the Assistant Secretary and Chief of the Land Transportation Office, ASEC Edgar Galvante, to give us the state of the LTO address. Nagbibiro lang po. Pero good morning, ASEC Galvante. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Cito. It's nice to see you again.
Okay, medyo. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity to explain a little bit what LTO is now. And I always welcome your request for an interview because through your program, we are able to disseminate information that the public needs as regards activities of LTO.
Okay,
so again, thank you very much.
You have, I think, approximately 1 month to go, ASEC Galvante, and perhaps it would be good to refresh the memory of Filipinos on the accomplishments of the LTO under your watch. Could you please do us that favor, ASEC Galvante?
Yes, thank you very much again, Cito. And I'd like to mention that right away when we got appointed to the position, we looked into what we can do to improve the services of LTO. So among the first action that we did, see the condition of the licensing process. And I remember that the very first tone of the president, he mentioned that he'd like the license validity to be lengthened from 3 years to 5 years. He said that during his July State of the Nation address, and October of that same year, we implemented the 5-year license validity. Although during that time, the license cards were not available yet, so we issued the license, still the temporary license on paper. Mm-hmm. But eventually, in the following year, I think it was August 29 when we issued the license card. When the supply of the license card arrived. So since then, we were issuing 5-year license card to the license holders who were renewing on their stated date of renewal. And then we look into the situation about the plate distribution.
Asec, before you go to other points, totoo ba? Kasi nagyayabang itong kaibigan kong si Mr. Roy Moralde. Pinangangalandakan niya na meron na sa Facebook na meron na siyang 10-year driver's license. Ako ba pine-fake news ng magaling na kaibigan ko? O is there such a thing as a 10-year driver's license?
Yes, in fact, when the law on this came out, 10930, there was a provision there that those license holders who did not commit any infraction of the traffic laws for the past previous 5 years that their license were valid, upon the renewal, they can be granted a 10-year license. So that, again, last October 2021, we started the issuance of 10-year license validity. And from then on, we've been issuing. Again, to emphasize, except for those who have infractions on traffic, hanggang 5 years lang muna ibibigay sa kanila. But again, for those who do not have any, the license issued to them has a validity of 10 years.
Has this contributed in a big way to reducing the human traffic at LTO offices? And did the LTO collect a windfall sum? Kasi 10 years, di biglang i-advance mo yung 10-year payment. Correct po ba yun?
Actually, medyo may konting pagbaba sa koleksyon ng LTO kasi with the 10-year license, hindi binago ang fee. Kumbaga, kung magkano yung binabayad sa 5-year license, ganun din ang bayad doon sa 10-year license. So, expectedly,
nalugi pa kayo.
Hindi kasi given the situation, the Secretary of the DOTR, Secretary Tugades, thinks that kung idadagdagan ng halaga ng fee ng license, makakakontribute ito sa problema ng mga, kumbaga kahit paano naghihikahos dahil sa nangyaring pandemya. Kaya walang pagbabago sa license fees na binabayaran ng 5 years at saka 10 years.
Aray ko. Anyway, is it optional, ASEC, to get a 10-year? Kunyari, like me, let's say me, kung gusto, I have a choice. Or do I have a choice? Sir, okay na ako doon sa 5-year o okay na ako doon sa annual kasi low budget lang ako, or talagang pag nag-renew ka, automatic kung wala kang offense, 10-year ka na?
Ito yung automatic, provided that for those renewing, merong konting processing yan because as required again in the law, kailangan medyo may konting refresher, kumbaga, to remind him of the traffic rules and regulation. But this, what we term as comprehensive driver's education, ito binibigay naman ng libre. Walang kabayaran ito if this is taken sa driver's education center ng LTO or the online portal that is available to the public. No? Ito ay without any additional fee. Of course, if they use the accredited driving school, meron itong babayaran for the services provided by the driving school.
Okay. Alam ko marami kang i-report sa amin, ASEC, pero if you don't mind, tatanong ko lang kagad. We'd like to find out what is the state of affairs regarding online payments, digital payments of the LTO. Because when the President recently signed the executive order for allowing online payments, I was the first to point out, or one of the first to point out, matagal nang ginagawa ng LTO yan. May mga pumalag nga dahil maapektuhan yung kanilang home ikananay, hanap buhay sa mga runner, etc. So, what is the status of online or digital payments at the LTO, Asec?
Magandang na-mention mo yan, Cito, no? Because as early as 2017, we started already the process of converting or payment to making the payment through online. And we had the MOA with Land Bank, and then we operationalized the system last October 2018. And the following year, the implementation of this, at least in the NCR, particularly NCR-OS, they were able to collect 1 billion from this online payment.
Wow.
Then last March 2022, this year, umabot na sa 4 billion ang kalang na process to this online collection.
For NCR only?
NCR West only. No?
NCR West only, hindi pa kasama yung East.
Tama.
Okay. Asec, time out muna tayo. We'll just go for a quick break, but that's good news. And when we return, pagpatuloy niyo po yung kinikwento ninyo. We'll be right back after this few reminders. Welcome back to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and with us is Assistant Secretary Edgar Galvante of the LTO. Asec Galvante, thank you for giving us the update. Now, could you please continue regarding the collections? You said in 2017-18, LTO NCR West collected 1 billion and then last year naka 4 billion. West pala ang yan.
This year, 4 billion for NCR West.
Okay.
We started this in NCR. Gusto ko namin makita na kung paano gagawin so that when we have this implemented in all the regions, they have kumbaga a model to follow. And little by little, all our other regions have started implementing this. In fact, even before the president has given the instruction through the issuance, LTO has started this already. And our land transportation management system has this in its system. No? Meron kaming sistema na talagang ma-accommodate yung mga digital payment through the digital platform. And we're proud to say that now we make this through gateway payments through Land Bank, Paymaya, and GCash. And in the coming days, the other payment platform can be as well accommodated.
Asec, may we know yung pong mga fines and penalties is it now, do you now accept payments online? Kasi yung mga nahuhuli dun sa NLEX, sa SLEX, yung mga pasaway, yun laging daing eh. They keep saying, pwede ba naman, wala nang mga confiscation of license on the spot, bayad na kami via online?
Sinusubukan pa namin to. In fact, some of our enforcement agents have this gadgets, kung saan meron meron yung option na kung tinatanggap mo na yung violation, you can pay. Kaya lang, doon sa aming dinidesign, hindi cash, but rather, let's say credit card. Kasi ayaw nating mangyari na matempt yung tao na
yes. Pero pwede, correct yung GCash, yung merong swiping machine. Pero yung pang GCash na gusto magbayad ng Paymaya, pwede na rin ba yun? Kunyari mahuli yung kaibigan ko sa NLEX o sa SLEX. Are they now allowed to pay on digitally?
Sa ngayon, hindi pa, Cito, but we're moving towards that. And I think within sa aming programa, within the year, that can be made possible, at least to sa mga centers like NCR, Region 3, Region 4, kung saan ito ang ginagawa namin, kumbaga parang yung sa aming initial launch, dito muna kami nagko-concentrate sa malapit before it's implemented in all the region.
Because you already have that system where you dial a certain number, LTO, and the LTO will say, okay, this plate number is registered to so and so, walang alarma, etc. Di ba? Meron kayong ganung system, confirmation or verification.
Yeah. But sa mga ibang lugar, ang nagiging problema namin yung pagiging stable ng internet, Kaya somehow, may mga pagkakataon na nagiging down yung system because of this glitches, But I feel that we're confident that as we improve the system, magagawa yung ganung serbisyo throughout the country.
Okay. Now, let's move to the topic you were about to start on, yung sa vehicle license plates.
Yeah, I'm proud to say, Cito, that for all vehicles registered since July 2016 onward, in fact, even to the early months of 2022, meron na tayong license plates na na-produce. Just too bad that some of those still sporting yung kanilang MB file number na naka-reflect sa lugar kung saan nandun dapat ang license plate. Maaaring hindi pa sila nakikipag-ugnayan sa kanilang dealers kung saan doon namin pinadala yung kanilang mga plaka. So 2016 up to early months of 2022, nagawa na natin yung plaka niyan. In fact, yung 30, pababa naman, lahat na hindi na-issue ng plaka, nagawa na namin ng plaka niyan. Ang hinahabol namin sa ngayon, yung replacement ng steel green and white plates, and we are in the process of producing this. And as we produce, we distribute. Kaya ulitin ko sana aming panawagan na kung kayo'y walang plaka, and your vehicles were registered during this period, please check on your dealers. At kung hindi naman, maaring makipag-ugnayan kayo sa amin sa LTO, ipadala nyo yung photocopy ng ORCR nyo para matrace namin kung nasan yung plaka ninyo.
Okay, wala bang plano? Well, I don't know if it's too late in the game, but is there no plan na parang, kasi nagkakatamaran din there are motorists or vehicle owners, so well, no one's making a big deal out of it, it's not a problem, so I will just carry on until I have a problem, and then until I need my plate number. So wala ba kayong planong to conduct a law enforcement campaign that for people who still will not get their plates, titikita na?
Na-mention mo yan, Cito. In fact, we're planning it already because during the meeting we had with some representatives of the dealers, we mentioned yung tulong nila tungkol sa pagbibigay ng plaka. Ibang nagsasabi na na-notify nila kaya lang hindi pa nagpupunta yung may-ari. So we thought that how about if we already announced that law enforcement agents will, kumbaga, stop vehicles not sporting a plate? Would that be of help para kunin nila yung mga plaka? Kasi ang iba sa kanila, umaangal na ng nasa stock room lang nila yung plaka, hindi kinukuha ng may-ari. So actually, we're planning on doing that, no? And maybe somehow that will help the dealers and us in the LTO na ma-distribute talaga yung plaka to the motorists at para wala na mag-sport ng mga hindi mabasa na mga plaka nilang temporarily nakata.
Yeah, meron nga ako nakita dalawang government vehicles naka-red plate nilagyan ng plastic cover para hindi makita masyado na red plate sila tapos naka-tinted pa. Parang ginagawang pang-personal na gamit yung sasakyan. Sabi ko, makakatapat din tong loko-lokon to. Anyway, so the plate issue is there. Ultimately, it will be a thing of the past. Now, may mga yes sir, go ahead.
Actually, yung mention ko kanina para doon sa four-wheel vehicle plate, ang isang malaking pagkukulang pa rin ng LTO ng ngayon is that yung mabigyan ng plaka, yung lahat ng registered motorcycle. Sa production namin dito sa LTO, by the end of the month, there would be about 18 to 19 million motorcycles in the Philippines, no? Ang lahat ito dapat mag-sport ng bagong plaka under the law na 11235. And so far, out of the projected 18-19 million, mga 8 million pa lang nagagawa naming plaka. And again, as we produce, we distribute. Kaya nanghihingi sana kami ng additional fund para doon sa balance, para maipa-contract out namin to. Kasi habang ginagawa natin yung plaka rito sa plate making plant ng LTO, gusto natin yung malaking backlog, matulungan tayo by contracting this out. In fact, ang isang tulong sa amin ngayon, na-activate na namin yung second robot plate making machine. Na-dedicate ito sa motorcycle plate. At medyo bibilis ng konti yung production ng plate. Pero kulang pa rin yan to cover the around 10 million
how long, how much time is needed to produce 10 million plates? Kasi ang problema mo dyan, Asec, while you're trying to play catch up, there are more and more motorcycles being sold. Kasi honestly, I have been resisting the idea of motorcycles, but with the price of gasoline, with the traffic, I can understand that more and more people will now abandon their cars at home and go on scooters.
Yeah, sa aming estimate, Cito, yung forward, ibig sabihin yung bagong madadagdag, no, can be taken care of by our plate production. Ang isang malaki is yung about 10 million nga na from year 2017 pababa. Because even those motorcycles which have been issued plates before, no, papalitan nyo ng bagong size, bagong format, no. So kung maibibigay sana yung pondo, mapapagawa natin to sa other suppliers, then yung forward, yung naidadagdag, no, can be taken care of by our plate making.
Pero are you allowed to do that, to outsource it? Kasi last time ginawa yan, yung mga nauna sa inyo, ay na-embargo lang doon sa pier at hindi magamit-gamit. In fact, I remember that was the first challenge that was faced by your predecessor, na he had crates and crates of plates, but they were all disallowed. Are you going to be allowed to outsource this 10 million plates for motorcycles?
Yeah, I think, Cito, at least we've learned lessons on ano yung naging, kumbaga parang kailangan para ma-perfect yung procurement system nitong plate, no? And again, given that lesson, we feel that hindi naman pinagbabawal ito, like other supplies that we are procuring, And again, kailangan tutok lang para walang ma-miss na doon sa mga requirements na kailangan sundin when we have this bidding for this plate.
So okay na tayo diyan. Speaking of motorcycles, medyo dumadami na naman yung gawa-ingay, yung mga alter ng kanilang mga tambucho na motorsiklo, and it has been noticed by the public. What is the LTO going to do about it?
Yeah, meron tayong, of course, sa kanilang registration, lagi yung lagi yung tinecheck. Isa sa mga tinecheck sa roadworthiness ng vehicle, whether four-wheel or motorcycle, is yung noise or the sound that in operating their vehicle, anong ini-emit nitong noise or sound. And sa ngayon, ang ina-adapt natin dyan is the sound emitted should not be more than 99 decibel. Kaya lang, siguro yung mga pagkatapos ma-inspect, nakitang standard naman yung nakakabit, saka sila nagkakabit. That's why our enforcers na nakadeploy, pag na-notice yun o narinig yun at nakita yung pinapara o ini-impound yung sasakyan at pinatatanggal yung unauthorized attachment. In fact, hindi lahat ng nabibili nila na-open sa mga dealers nito, hindi komot binibenta yan sa market, automatic na authorized na ikabit yan. Kung ikakabit nila for a special purpose, they should get the clearance muna from the LTO. And again, if they are inspected during the process of registration at hindi authorized silang ikinabit yon, patatanggal sa kanila yan. Otherwise, hindi re-renew yung registration ng vehicle.
Asec, naisip ko lang, since you have at least 30 days pa naman, wouldn't it be a good idea to sit down with the DTI? Kasi alam mo, for the longest time, dekada-dekada na pinuproblema yung mga aftermarket tambucho, aftermarket blinkers, sirens, flashers, etc. And people will say, well, why is it illegal if I can buy it in a store? So it tells us that perhaps it is the importation and the sale of these products at retail that you and the DTI should sit down on and settle. Kasi may mga may mga issues na kung hindi binebenta yan sa tindahan, ikakabit ko ba yan sa sasakyan ko?
Yeah, magandang suggestion yun, Tito. And we'll reach out to DTI and maybe ask for a meeting with them to discuss this. Medyo meron pa naman siguro tayong time, As you know, hanggang June 30 na lang yung aking term. But we'll contact DTI and
yeah, because matagal na pinag-uusapan yan pati yung tint sa kotse, etc. Ngayon, pati police car, nakatint na. Sabi ko nga, dito lang yata sa Pilipinas, makikita mo na ang mga patrol car, fully tinted, dark tint pa. Sa Amerika, sisitahin ka o sa ibang bansa, sinisita, they stop you if you have tint in the car where the police cannot see how many passengers are there, etc. Dito, police nakatint pa. So, I don't know. Dati ka namang nasa serbisyo, Asec, Parang imbis na nagpapatrol, nakatulog sa patrol car.
Yeah, we'll, as you suggested, Tito, we'll contact DTI and suggest everything to discuss this.
Okay, what is our situation as far as other areas of concern? Kasi pinag-usapan na natin yung ating plaka, pinag-usapan natin yung online, yung licensing, etc. Any challenges? What were the challenges that you had problems with as ASEC? Total, palabas ka na. Di labasan na ng barahan, di ba? Kasi kawawa naman yung papalit sa'yo kung sasaluhin na naman niya the same problem and the same challenge na hindi niya inasahan.
Yung isang medyo pagbabago doon sa time ng pamumuno ni Secretary Tugades at yung roadworthiness ng vehicle rather than the age of the vehicle. ang pinagbabatayan for its for its renewal of registration. It's just too bad that we presented the situation in LTO, yung tungkol sa pag-check ng vehicle. We have the motor vehicle inspection centers ng LTO, kaya lang because of wear and tear, because of a long time na hindi ito na-upgrade, kumbaga nag-bug down. And right now, there is no very, kumbaga, very functional na motor vehicle inspection facility. Meron kaming dadalawa, maya't maya, nakakaroon ng problema, nasisira, we look for part of it and so on. That's why, as part of the program, nanghingi kami ng pondo to rehabilitate this, except again, di kami pinalad. So that we thought, the OTR thought, that maging part ito nung magkakaroon ng PPP ba, yung private-public partnership.
Yes.
That's why this was offered to those who would like to operate, may kakayahan sila to finance the facility. That's why I think right now, mayroong mga 123 or so na private motor vehicle inspection centers throughout the country. And we hope madadagdagan pa ito. Kasi ito ang nakakapag-inspect ng tunay ng mga roadworthiness ng vehicle. No offense sa mga PETC, no? Ang PETC, ang na-check lang talaga yung emission, no? And if you pass the emission test, it doesn't mean that roadworthiness sa sakyan mo. Kaya so a motorist, talagang you're conscious of your the safety of your vehicle when you're driving it, kailangan naman magkaroon ng thorough check-up. And with the help of the motor vehicle inspection facility, makikita yung diferensya ng preno, yung manubela, yung operate, kumbaga, yung functioning ng makina ng sasakyan mo, and that would tell kung kumbaga nakikita yung diferensya, at least magproprotektahan ka, may papaayos ko para hindi maging ma-jeopardize yung safety mo pag ikaw nag-drive.
Okay.
Kaya nakita ng tao ang kahalagahan ng inspection ng vehicle.
Okay, Asec, we'll go for another quick break. Medyo kailangan magbigay ng reminder, pero balikan kita at mukhang mahaba-haba itong usapan natin. Okay, we'll be right back with Asec Edgar Galvante here on Agenda. Welcome back to Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran. On this 25th day of May 2022, it's a Wednesday, and let's go back to the Assistant Secretary of Transportation, Department of Transportation, and Head of the LTO Asec, Edgar Galvante. Sir, welcome back. Okay. Pinag-uusapan natin, we were talking about this private motor vehicle inspection system. Is it possible that the group of the or the association of inspection facilities medyo nag-overpromise sila? Kasi parang nilabas nila sa press release or even LTO, baka pati kayo may kasalanan, na there would be like 70 inspection points and everybody freaked out. Kumbaga, imbis na kinonti-konti natin yung transition na okay po na for this year we will only be testing this much, and then the next year we will also be including this already. Kasi honestly, I freaked out when you made that announcement or when they made the announcement na there were something like 70 inspection points.
Yeah, actually, Cito, this is not new. Even before, much earlier, yan ang nakalagay dun sa yung inspection sheet.
Okay.
In-inspection tile, so forth and so on. Kaya lang siguro nakakagulat na ngayon na-emphasize siya na at least 71 points ang ini-inspect during whether it's manual or assisted by the MBIC, 71 points yung pina-check dyan. No? Mm-hmm. But yung brake system, no? Yung ini-emit na smoke, yung sound, so forth and so on, lights kasama yon. Mm-hmm. But huwag kayong magugulat doon sa 71 kasi kahit na yung maliliit lang na bagay nakalista doon, because halimbawa wiper, no? You can only think of the wiper probably pag there's a drizzle or whatever. Otherwise, don't bother yourself checking your wiper if it's working during fair weather. No? Again, to emphasize, hindi ito bago. Even before, I think as early as middle of the year 1900, andyan na yun eh. Andyan na yung...
kinopya naman kasi natin from the United States, correct?
Yes. Yes. And again, since ito ang parang pamantayan internationally, inadapt natin yon.
Okay, now with your experience as ASEC and all these things, hinarap mo naman lahat no? Matanong ko lang sir, what would your advice be to the motoring public? Because with the several years that I've worked closely with your group, with your associates, medyo even my wife has said, you better retire from all of these old cars. And as far as our cars is concerned, the days of having a car that is 20 years or older is no longer sustainable. Kumbaga, dahil hihigpit na yung inspection regulation, tumataas na yung mga insurance, or wala ng insurance. What are your advice to the public as well as to those who will be coming after you at the LTO? Replacing you, I mean.
Yeah, Tito, magandang ma-adapt yung move na talagang mag-modernize. No? Kaya lang, while there are efforts really to modernize our transport system, particularly yung mga public utility vehicles na ginagamit, gusto rin natin isaalang-alang yung sitwasyon naman nung nagmamay-ari nitong mga ito. Hindi yung malalaking kumpanya, but rather marami kasi sa ating public transport system, yung nag-aari ng jeep, mga bus, marami din dyan yung mga hindi kayang magpalit immediately. Kaya binibigyan ni Secretary Pagade na, sige, papayagan kayo mag-operate provided roadworthy yung sasakyan ninyo. But for those who are willing to change their unit already to more modern ones, nagbibigay ng assistance ang DOTR. In fact, doon sa mga nagmamay-ari ng unit na papalitan nilang medyo bagong sasakyan, bagong unit, nag-o-offer ang DOTR ng tulong na I think from dati 80,000 binibigay, ngayon 160,000 bilang tulong doon sa pag-purchase nila ng bagong sasakyan. At merong pati yung life, no, halimbawa kumuha sila ng installment. Dati 3 years lang yan. Ngayon, nahihigit na sa 7 years, no? Down payment, tapos I think 6% per annum na interest, and 7 years to pay, ika nga. so that given the life of the modern vehicle, kakayanin namang matustusan ng 7 years na installment at saka yung paunang 180,000 na assistance, kakayanin nung nagmamay-ari na magpalit siya ng bagong unit para maging compliant naman dito sa mga safety requirements na kailangan lang observan.
Ayoko namang bansagan akong traidor ng mga car restoration addicts, ano, pero or mga jeepney drivers, but are we facing the possibility that our beloved jeepney will ultimately have to be placed in museums instead of on the road? Kasi if I look at your rules and regulations, if I look at the standards, there is no way that our jeepneys and some of our taxis would be and should be allowed on the road. Yun na nga lang, tambakan tayo. We have become a dumping ground of surplus engines, etc., and spare parts. I mean, it just essentially tells you that our mobility is based on used parts.
Yeah, actually, Cito, when DOTR invited the manufacturers, local manufacturers of vehicles, no? Kumbaga kung magpakita sila ng prototype. Kasi kinonsider din dito yun ngang mga yung mga datihan na sa transportation. Sabi niya, yung ating jeepney, icon yan no? Kaya merong mga local manufacturers na gumawa ng sasakyan naka-pattern, na forma dun sa ating jeep na yung pangkasalukuyang ginagamit pa rin, no? Pero in-improve na nila para maging compliant to sa safety standard. Yung haba, yung lapad, even the yung instead na yung sasakay sa likod dumadaan, gagawin na nila ito sa side na kung saan yung side na malapit sa bangketa.
Yeah, but will we reach that point na ma-phase out na rin yan? Kasi katulad ng mga stainless na jeepney, na jeep, yung mga tawag ko, kalimutan ko na yung tawag ng mga pulis doon. Dati, policeman's favorite, yung mga jeep. Will we see the day na wala na kundi sa museum?
Maaring matagal-tagal pa rin yun, Cito. In fact, probably you know that marami tayong enthusiast, no, na nagpre-preserve, kumbaga nagbubuhay nito mga vehicle na ito, at may lalabas na yata lalabas pa lang kung saan inaalaw ito.
Oh, well, unfortunately, it's too late for me because nag-retire na ako. Dinispatch ako na lahat ng mga lumang sasakyan ko. I'm medyo magastos, sayang ang pera. But anyway, going back to public transport. So it will be a slow process of adapting the looks, but the overall feature is modern, etc. Ngayon, may nag-text din nagko-complain. Well, una, batiin ko muna yung mga tiga-bayan ng Alitagtag, sila Doc Carlo and si Pearl. Hello, Pearl. And also, ito po, Asec, palagay ko, pang pang LTFRB, pero kino-complain yung mga jeepney. Maliban daw sa maiingay ng mga motorsiklo, maingay ng mga tambutso ng mga sasakyan, ito raw, pati yung mga jeep, maiingay na naman ulit yung kanilang mga stereo.
I'll take note of that, Cito, and I will direct the LTO in Region 5. Region 4A. Nasasakupan niya ng Region 4A.
Hindi sa area ko ito, Asec. Mukhang NCR to kasi nasa NCR ako . Ako nagbalik Pasig na rin ako.
But we will direct the LTO personnel there to kumbaga implement this anti-noise campaign. Kasi I don't know, siguro may mga motorcycle enthusiasts na parang isang isang ano yun eh, yung ingay ng motorsiklo as if parang ano nila yun eh, no? I don't know, parang no offense, no? Parang nag-ego trip. Kaya lang talagang nakakabulahaw naman sa publiko, no? Lalong-lalo na po ito nangyari sa gabi.
Okay, now, balikan naman natin yung LTO itself. Okay, because alam ko na one of the problems of the LTO is you give services, you collect fees and fines, but you don't get to keep the money. You have to turn it all over to the national government, to the general appropriations, and hihingi na naman kayo all over to the Department of Transportation, and then the DOTR will then give you whatever it can afford to give you. In other words, there is really no hope of the LTO becoming, better and expanding its services. I think the only person who has been pushing for the LTO to be transformed into the Department of Motor Vehicles kasi sobrang dami. Ngayon, paalis ka na rin naman dyan. I don't think you still want another 6 years of suffering in public service. Now, what are your thoughts about that? I've always believed that the LTO should be like the US version, or even in the other European countries, you are the Department of Motor Vehicle.
Yeah, probably it would help if it, but this doesn't mean that gusto namin tumiwalag sa ano. But then, ang isang request lang is that given also the contribution of LTO to the national coffers, siguro naman yung pangangailangan, no, both in personnel and equipment, madagdagan. It's good that there are again 6 LTO district office created. Madadagdagan yung mga facilities nito na kung saan ilinalapit yung serbisyo ng LTO kung saan ito kailangan. No? Kaya merong very recently sinainan si Presidente na creation ng I think 6 district offices, and there will be some more coming. But insofar as the equipage of LTO, there was may panukala dati na magtataas ng MBUC, yung Motor Vehicle Users Charge. At during the hearing, nanghingi kami ng a certain portion of that kasi sabi namin, lahat ng, tama yung sabi mo, Cito, na lahat na nakukolekta ng LTO, kay bayad dito sa license fees, registration, even fines and penalties, lahat yan na-turn over sa National Treasury. Not a single centavo retained by LTO. Kaya I'd like to correct sana yung mga impression na sabi nga nung minsan saan ko daw dinala yung binayad nila sa plaka. Wala kaming iniiwan dito sa LTO. In fact, before 4 o'clock of every operating day, dinideposito na namin yun sa land bank. At yung hindi na iabot sa 4 o'clock, the following day, the first hour in the morning, office hour in the morning, tine-turn over na yan o dinideposito sa land bank.
Okay, Asec, may we know, and I don't expect you to know all of this, no? Pero baka sakali lang, how much money does the LTO earn in 1 year and turn over to the Philippine government? Annually, magkano bang kita nyo?
Before the pandemic, mga 24-25 billion.
24 to 25 billion pesos a year.
Year, yes.
And how much budget does the LTO get annually?
This last budget proposal, mga 3B ang maibibigay sa amin. Nanghingi sana kami ng dagdag, lalong-lalo na para mahabol namin yung backlog sa plates, no? But unfortunately, merong mas priority na hindi kami nabigyan nito. O hindi kami
yun ang sinasabi natin, mga kaibigan, and I will take liberty on representing the LTO. They earned 24 to 25 billion annually before the pandemic. They get magkano kamo? 4 billion.
3
billion. barya in any private corporation, the office or the department that makes money, they get at least 10 to 15% of what they earn, or even more, kasi kumbaga there is reinvestment and expansion of that business model. Ang LTO, if the LTO were given a substantial portion of its earnings, how much more money can you guys generate, Asec?
Kaya, in fact, halimbawa, itong registration ng motorcycle, while we say that estimate mga aabot yan sa June 30 by about hanggang 18 million. Pero there are a lot more motorcycles which are not registered. No? Kaya out of this, sana makakakolekta pa rin ng gobyerno if we have this facility, madagdagan yung aming, let's say, yung aming facilities, yung enforcement unit, madagdagan pa ito. And even in fact, maganda yung ease of doing business na ina-adapt kasi na-streamline namin yung aming mga proseso at magiging mas mabilis ang proseso para lalong mabawasan itong haba ng pila. Kasi siguro nakaka-turn off din sa mga magre-registro, magre-renew ng lisensya na pag sila pupunta sa LTO, mahaba ang pila, kaya i-defer na lang nila, hanggang sa practically hindi na sila makapag-renew ng registration or lisensya. No? As much as possible, we don't want to magpataw ng mga penalties. But sometimes, we have to do this kasi nasa batas yun, hindi sila tumunod, may kaukulang lang penalty yan.
Okay, well, Asec, ubos oras na tayo. So thank you very much for doing a good job at the LTO, putting all of the things that we agree, disagree on, all the things that went right, most of them went right, and some of the things that went wrong. I have to say that you did a heroic job. You took on a job that anyone else would have had second thoughts on, and in spite of your health and your age, but thank you for serving the country, and your services are much appreciated.
Thank you very much, Cito, and I will always treasure the moments that you're helping us explain this to the public. And indeed, yung programa nyo, nakakatulong ito, plus the other programs. No? And I hope whoever comes after me, andun ka rin, natutulong pa rin na mag-remind sa LTO sa kanilang mga ginagawa.
Akala ko sasabihin mo, God help him. Okay, thank you very much, Asec. Have a good day, sir. Okay, that's Assistant Secretary Edgar Galvante of the Land Transportation Office. And now we close the program with the weekly blessing, Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. And whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through Him. Yan po, no? Emphasize ko lang yan, giving thanks. And please read my column today. I hope it will give you inspiration. I picked up a portion of the podcast of a well-known celebrity there, and it's all about Thanksgiving on Cito in Philippine Star. Thank you for joining us here on Agenda. Please keep it here on One News.